They had both been inside already with their firearms on February 11th. Did they? Nope. And you'll note that the 911 operator stayed on the phone with Travis Mcmichael the entire time until Officer Rash arrived. That's important. Stayed on the phone the entire time so Travis could keep reporting what he was seeing. So now November 18th, 2019. They don't know anything about November 18th, 2019 until they're shown some videos on February 11th of 2020. So they don't even know about this. And it can't be December 17th, 2019 because nobody knew about that at all. Even Larry English, I don't know. I found these on my phone. I never paid attention to them. Police weren't called. Nothing happened. Okay, but what do we know? Okay, a couple of things. Let's look at this. I want you to watch this. What's Mr. Aubry doing? More importantly, what's Mr. Aubry not doing? Alright? Here's the thing. Alright. I'm gonna do this. I'm really scared, but I'm gonna do it. It's pitch black. Okay, it's pitch black. I'm in the house. I can't see. Okay, I know there's a table. I seriously do. There it is. Okay. Did you see Mr. Aubry do that? Did you see him do this? Did you see him run his shin into anything? Did you see him run into any of this furniture or this equipment? They keep claiming it's pitch black in there. Does he look like he's acting like it's pitch black? Okay? No. I don't know how he's seeing. I don't know if it's the street light. I don't know if it's the moonlight. I don't know if it's a combination of those things. But for him, he can see what's going on inside. What here? Just skirted that lawnmower. Didn't run into it. Didn't bash his elbow on it. And here's what we know Mr. Aubry did on December 17th. After he went in there for a few minutes and looked around, didn't take anything, didn't damage anything. This is what he did. So, can't be February 11th, 2020. That's not the crime we're talking about that they're trying to do a citizen's arrest for. Because a private citizen's warrantless arrest must occur immediately after the offense. If you fail to immediately arrest, you can't arrest later. Okay? And what do we have here? Well, we know what we have here. We have criminal trespass at the most, according to law enforcement officer Rash, who then said it was loitering and prowling. But first off, I want to address this. Empathy, once again. Where's the empathy from Travis Mcmichael? Travis Mcmichael's point of view is, I pulled up and I got out of the car and had a confrontation with this guy because I was about to say, what are you doing here? And then he put his hand near his pocket and then I jumped back in my car. Well, okay, let's think about this. Empathy. Do Ahmaud's actions afterwards, does it look like he thought he was just in a confrontation when he walked into the house? On February 11th? What did he do when he walked in the house on February 11th? Walked around, wandered around, looked around for a few minutes, and was gone by the time Diego Perez gets over there with his gun, right? So what do we got? Does it look like he just saw someone in a car out front and it was no big deal to him? I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. I have no idea. You saw the video. What does it look like from the video? Is he in there hiding? Is he in there crouched down? Or is he just wandering around as usual inside? Remember, no one had ever told him to not be on that property. So, the thing is, what you're saying to me is you're going, but Linda, the defense got up here and said he's a burglar. He's a burglar, and he committed all these burglaries. Well, why are they saying that? Well, because they want it to be a burglary, so that it's a felony, so that if he's escaping from that felony that he committed, that burglary, they can chase him down. But they didn't know he had done anything that particular day on February 23rd, 2020. What's burglary? when without authority and with the intent to commit a theft therein, that person enters or remains within the dwelling of another. Okay. Criminal trespass, when that person knowingly and without authority enters upon the land or premises of another for an unlawful purpose. Okay, so what do you got? Kind of really similar. One's a felony, one's a misdemeanor, right? Criminal trespass, a misdemeanor. So what's really important right now is, what did the defendants know on February 11th, 2020? What did they know?
It's got a dumpster out by the driveway. There's some blacks right in there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
They, matter of fact, I don't come to think of it, I kept forgetting about them. They have some kids that age that hang around that house.
Yeah. Well, I've been there for an actual report of an alleged assault or whatever, and it's the kids they have are only females. Now, I don't know if it's one of them's boyfriend. They only had daughters there, so it could be, unless somebody's moved in with them, whatever. But yeah, nobody seems to know who this kid is, where he's coming from. But like he's always, all the times on the video that Mr. English has sent me, he sent me one now, it's always been just in there plundering around. He hasn't seen him actually take anything. I said, so, you know.
It's criminal trespassing.
Yeah, very least, so. Loitering and prowling.
I had it reported. It's stolen on the 1st, right down the road.
Now, we did have, I took a report down the road here, the house on the corner, the guy where the Jeep and all is, he had some stuff stolen, some guns stolen, but we got on video the car, the people that come in and stole them, they were from another neighborhood.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
What's up, man?
Hey, buddy. Good.
What did they know? In front of Travis Mcmichael, Greg Mcmichael specifically says to Officer Rash, this is criminal trespassing, a misdemeanor. Why is it criminal trespassing? He's never taken anything. He's never stolen anything. Nothing had ever been taken from the construction site. Officer Rash says it's loitering and prowling. So on February 11th, 2020 at 7:30 at night, Travis Mcmichael and Greg Mcmichael know there's absolutely no evidence that Mr. Aubry has committed any felony or theft from the construction site, from the owner himself, and from a police officer. This is what they know on February 11th. What was Officer Rash's plan? This is important. Officer Rash, Glenn County police officer, what was his plan when it came to Mr. Aubry? Was to get his identity information, inform him that this was private property, call Larry English in front of Ahmaud Arbery, put him on speakerphone, let the owner, Larry English, make the decision to either just ask Ahmaud not to come back or to have the police trespass him, meaning I'm giving you an official trespass warning. If you ever come back here again, you'll be arrested. This was Officer Rash's plan. Reasonable. This is what Larry English wanted. Just somebody tell him to not come back, please. That's all. That's all. Robert Rash took the stand. He said a couple more things that were very, very important in this case. How do you identify a burglar? He was asked by the defense this. What did he say? Caught taking something from the house. This is your Glenn County law enforcement officer Rash, who's on the case, who's been talking with Larry English constantly, knows all about this. What did he say to the defense? How do you identify a burglar? Because they get caught taking something from a house. Then he was asked, but wait a second, isn't burglary you enter with the intent to commit a felony or theft therein? What did he say? How would I know what his intent was? Right. How would Officer Rash know what Ahmaud Arbery's intent was? Right there. Said it right in the stand. But the defense, of course, says, well, there are things of value in there. Okay, but those things of value have been in there. They were in there all of 2019. They were in there October, November, December, January, and February. And they were never stolen or taken. Ever. By anyone, including Mr. Aubry. It's not a burglar. Okay? So how do you analyze this case? Well, was it a citizen's arrest? You decide. But if they were not conducting a lawful citizen's arrest, You do not have to consider, you still may if you want to, but you don't really have to consider self-defense, because if it's not a lawful citizen's arrest, then they were the first unjustified aggressors and they were committing felonies against Mr. Arbery, and therefore they don't get to claim self-defense. And you can go directly to the charges in the indictment. All right, so it's not a citizen's arrest. This is the state's argument. No crime, not a burglary, not criminal trespass committed in the defendant's presence. None whatsoever. The suggestion that the victim committed a burglary in 2019, you can't arrest him now because he's not escaping from those things. Think about this. How is someone escaping from October 25th out on a dock? How is someone escaping from February 11th, 2020 on February 23rd? Okay? That is irrational. Wanting to question the victim demonstrates their uncertainty on what he had done that day, and wanting to question the victim demonstrates a lack of immediate knowledge which is required for a lawful citizen's arrest. They didn't see him commit any crime that day. And the state's not saying he wasn't in 220, 220 Satilla Drive. We all know he went in there and wandered around and then came out and then ran off down the street. We all know that. They didn't know that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the evidence in the case. So first off, once again, where are we? Satilla Shores, Royal Oaks is next door, Fancy Bluff, that's where Ahmaud Arbery lives. There's US 17, the expressway's over there 95. Ahmaud Arbery. Yesterday, Laura Hogue got up here and she gave you Criminal Defense 101. Usually Criminal Defense 101 is no crime actually took place. Well, crime's on video. My client didn't commit the crime. Well, yeah, your clients are on the video committing the crime. Criminal Defense 101, step 3. It's the victim's fault. Standard stuff. Malign the victim. It's the victim's fault. I know you're not going to buy into that. It's offensive. He lived 1.8 miles away. There was his residence. There's the house under construction. Only 1.8 miles away. February 23rd, 2020 at 1:08 p.m. Mr. Aubry walks up to the open, unsecured construction site. We have our Olson video. Remember, it's off by an hour and 5 minutes. Per the video from inside 220, Mr. Aubry does not take anything, just does what he always does, wanders around and leaves. It's not a burglary, okay? How would you know what his intent was? Well, did he steal anything? No. Did he leave? Like he always does? Yes. It's a Sunday afternoon, and Mr. Albenzi calls the non-emergency police line at 1:08. I said to him, why didn't you call 911? Because this was not an emergency. It wasn't an emergency. It's Mr. Albenzi. It's just another guy over at that house. Again, the house that's unsecured, doesn't have a fence, doesn't even have no trespassing signs on. Can you send somebody out when it's convenient? Not an emergency. Greg Mcmichael is in front of 230 Satilla Drive alone, and he sees Mr. Arbery running down the street. Driveway decision 1. How do we know he didn't witness any crime? But the whole thing started when I saw this guy running down the street. He does not know that Mr. Arbery was inside 220. He only sees him running down the street. Travis Mcmichael certainly didn't know anything. He's inside, on the sofa. Greg Mcmichael assumed the worst. And so I thought, well, he's running from somebody. He's just done something. He might have hurt somebody or whatever, because, this guy's been in and out of that damn one house over and over and over again, got him on videos and everything. That is not sufficient for a citizen's arrest. This is not probable cause. I don't know what in the world this guy was doing, but he was running down the street real fast. That's what this is. And remember, he's talking to the police about what he believed Ahmaud Arbery had done that day. He must have done something today. He's running down the street. Let's chase after him with guns. That's what happened. Driveway decision. Greg McMichael chooses to arm himself with a handgun. Travis McMichael chooses to arm himself with a pump shotgun. These are their choices. Travis McMichael had his cell phone, but Greg McMichael does not take his cell phone to him. All right. This is really important, ladies and gentlemen. On February 11th, the 911 operator stayed on the phone with Travis McMichael the entire time. Right? So if Greg McMichael had actually made contact with the 911 operator, what would have been happening inside the truck? He'd have been on the phone with that 911 operator going, yeah, he's going this way, he's going this way, he's going that way. Okay? The fact that Greg McMichael was not on the phone with 911 giving them a play-by-play tells you that Travis and Greg knew they had not called 911. Travis knew his dad hadn't called 911. Okay? Neither one of them called 911. They had no intention of calling 911. Just like they went and confronted the homeless guy under the bridge and then called 911. Just like they ran back down on February 11, 2020 to the house and then called 911. What do? They get their guns, they go to do a confrontation, and then they call 911. Greg McMichael didn't even bother to take his cell phone with him. Obvious to Travis, he did not call 911. Travis McMichael. 60 seconds after Mr. Aubry has run past 230 Satilla Drive, he makes his driveway decision. Doesn't tell his dad to calm down. Doesn't tell his dad that no, he's not getting a shotgun and running after somebody. Doesn't tell his dad this is a really, really bad idea. We shouldn't do this. No, what does he do? His white F-150 pickup truck backs out of the driveway and heads in the direction that Mr. Aubry was running. This happens after he gets his shotgun and getting into his pickup truck. Travis McMichael testified that he went to the end of the driveway and he saw Mr. Albenze point one time down the street. There was no verbal communication by Mr. Albenze with the McMichaels. That was a lie. I'm going to focus your attention up here, ladies and gentlemen. What we have here is 21325. Can y'all see this okay? Am I blocking your way? All right. So what we have here, as you can see, is Mr. Albenze, right? Here's the black car. Remember the black car goes by, then Mr. Aubry runs the other way, down this way, right? So let's go ahead and play. There goes the black car. Mr. Albenze's there. There goes Ahmaud. Do you see him? Right there. Ahmaud's running. There he goes, right there. You see him? Down the street. And there he goes. All right? Then what happens? See the white truck right here? You're looking at it? Somebody comes out. Goes to the door of the truck. Mr. Albenze is still right here underneath the tree. Somebody else comes out. Do you see the second person come out and go around the front of the truck? Greg McMichael. Because where's Greg McMichael? Greg McMichael's going into that, sit in that car seat, right? Second person comes around. Then what happens? Then Mr. Albenze walks down the street. He's walking. Truck pulls out. Wow. Truck pulls out. Mr. Albenze does his pointing when the truck is already pulled out and going down the street. Want to see it again? Back it up. Here we go. There's Mr. Albenze. Here's the black car. There goes Ahmaud, running down the street. There he goes. This is the white truck. He's still underneath here. There comes somebody in the truck. He's right there. There comes Mcmichael. He comes around. He gets in. Then Mr. Albense starts walking down the street. Chuck pulls out. There goes his arm. There goes his arm. Where's the truck? Already pulled out. Already pulled out and heading down the street. All right. Should you trust the statements of Travis Mcmichael? Now, let's go ahead and first take a look at this. He told you he's not going to chase or investigate someone who is armed. And yet all he talked about was, well, he kept reaching in his pants, he kept reaching in his pocket. Well, did you think he was armed or not? Then what did he tell you? This is what I was thinking. Mr. Aubry may have run by. Maybe Matt had seen him. Maybe he has broken in. Maybe Larry English is over at 220. I don't know. Maybe Ahmaud Arbery was caught. Maybe Ahmaud Arbery is running from the police. These are all maybes. He doesn't know anything. These are all the maybes he testified to. He said he assumed he was committing a crime. That's what he said on the stand. Remember, I wrote it out. You said you assumed he was committing a crime. I went down there to see if it was him. Then he said, I don't know. I don't know what he did that day. I don't know. Then he wanted to talk about his totality of the circumstances and all that stuff that he knew that was going to allow him to do the citizen's arrest. What did he talk about? Well, I heard from my mom about the stuff stolen off the boat. Okay, well, can't arrest somebody on the unsupported gossip of someone else. Can't do that. And then, I saw him inside the house, and I knew he was in there on a couple other days because I'd seen video on February 11th, he saw these videos. Okay, well, that's not having committed a crime in his immediate presence. This is somebody showing you some stuff later. And then he knew about the white couple. Oh yeah, I knew there were other suspects for stealing the stuff and other suspects who had gone in the house, the white couple. Okay? And then he also said, well, yeah, and then there was the shady looking guy under the bridge. He was also kind of a suspect. He said, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. What happened down the road? I was ordering him to stop. What gives you the right to order Ahmaud Arbery to stop? My impression was that he could be a threat. Because who knows what can happen? Oh my God. Self-defense. You have to think you're in imminent danger of receiving serious bodily harm or death. It's imminently happening. I'm about to die. My impression was that he could be a threat. Yeah, who knows what could happen? That's what I said on the stand. All right, so what else have we got? If Greg had called 911, he still would have been on the phone with 911. We know that. That's how 911 works. They stay on the phone with you. He knew he wasn't on the phone with 911. He told you he didn't know what his father was saying to Ahmaud. Really? Does anybody believe that? That he's in the car with his dad, but he has no idea what it was that his father was actually saying to Ahmaud as well as what he was saying? Now, what did he talk about? He talked about that continuum of the use of force and blah, blah, blah. Level 2 is commands. Okay. I'm sorry. How do police officers command people to do stuff? How do they usually do that? Because police officers, are they yelling at you? Or are they politely saying stuff to you when they're commanding you to do things? Do you believe for a minute he was talking softly to Ahmaud Arbery? What's going on? What are you doing? Please stop for me. Do you really believe that for 1 minute? I'm going to ask you another question. Do you think This Travis Mcmichael who took the stand was the same Travis Mcmichael from February 23rd. You think they're the same person? Or you think this is trial preparation? What tone of voice do we have being used by the McMichaels?
Hello. 911, what's the address of your emergency?
I'm out here at Satilla Shores. There's a black male running down the street.
Satilla, where at Satilla Shores?
I don't know what street we're on. Stop right there! Is it? Stop! Travis!
Sir, hello?
Ask yourself, was that the tone of voice being used? Well, yes, we know it was. He just said, stop, God damn it, stop, to Mr. Aubry, in that tone of voice. All right, use of force continuum. Presence. Did not have no badge, no uniform, no authority. Just some strange guys in a white pickup truck. Strangers. Verbal commands. They don't have any authority to use verbal commands. This is a fellow citizen. This is another human being. They're pulling up on him, and they're commanding that he stop and talk to them. And then, of course, he skipped level 3, level 4, level 5, and went right to deadly force. Boom. Someone's dead. Claims he didn't cut off Ahmaud on Burford, did not get out with his shotgun. I don't know, you believe any of that? Told the police he got out of his car in Holmes, a few houses down, and yelled at Ahmaud to stop. Now he says that didn't happen, and his convenient excuse is, I was really confused. What did he say the Coast Guard goals were? To not escalate, but to keep everyone calm and cool. You don't want anything to escalate. But then he tells you, oh, but you pull out a shotgun and point it at somebody to de-escalate a situation. What are you talking about? Does this logic make any sense to anybody? Travis Mcmichael never said to the police, I was making an arrest. I was trying to arrest him for the crime of this. Wouldn't that be really, really important? Hey, I was trying to effectuate a citizen's arrest for this crime that I know he committed. Wouldn't that be something you'd tell the police? Never once. Never told Mr. Arbery he was under arrest. Never said, I saw him commit the crime of blank today. Because he didn't. He was sitting on his sofa. Never said, I was afraid he was going to hurt my dad or pull him down. Never even mentioned being afraid for his dad. Not once. Anything about the English's boat or anything being stolen from 220. Never mentioned it. Never talked about it. 2-hour and 45-minute interview. Doesn't talk about any of this stuff. Assumed the worst. Here's what he did. So he stopped, and I said, hey, just want to talk to you, where are you running from? Where are you going? This is what he says he said. He's asking Ahmaud about what he was doing that day. Because he didn't know what he'd done that day, but he assumed the worst. He must have committed some crime. What's your emergency? There's a black man running down the street. What did Agent Seacrest tell you? GBI agent, I can't compel anyone to speak to me. They knew better, just like Agent Seacrest knows. I can't compel anybody to talk to me. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Defendant Bryan. 307 Burford. You've seen his night out video. I'm not playing it for you again. It's motion activated on the porch. Travis Mcmichael's white 150 pickup truck comes in front. Driveway decision. And this is important, ladies and gentlemen. This is really important. Y'all got him? Why is this important? What does this say? Mr. Bryan, from his porch, can tell that they are chasing and trying to falsely imprison, stop, define, confine Mr. Aubry. He can tell it from his porch. He knows exactly what they're doing. Y'all got him? He knows what they're doing, and you know what he chooses to do? His independent own decision. I'm going to go join him to try and stop this guy, confine and detain him. He just joins in and starts helping. his driveway decision. That is what being a party to the crime is. You go to help some people who are committing some crimes, trying to stop this guy and detain him and confine him. He joined in. Y'all got him? He knew exactly what the Mcmichaels were doing. What did Mr. Bryan tell you? So I just kind of sat there for a minute and didn't really know what to do. And then he was trucking. So I mean, he closed in on me quick. And as soon as he got up to me, I overshot the road. I was kind of angled. I overshot the road and forced him to go down into the ditch right there. Aggravated assault with a pickup truck on Mr. Bryan's verdict form? Check. And I angled my truck at him again. I think he kind of turned around. I missed him or whatever. I missed him. He was intending to hit him. I missed him. I mean, when you say, well, I missed him, what does that mean you were trying to do? You were trying to hit this person. Then at the scene, he tells Officer Minshew, one time when I cornered him up over here on Burford, he was trying to get in my truck. He tried to get in my door. Okay. Trying to get in his door. Or, Mr. Bryan, did you get so close to Mr. Arbery that Mr. Arbery had to push off from your truck, getting white fibers from his t-shirt and his palm print on your truck? Because you got so close to hitting him, he had to push off to get away from you. I mean, I can't say for sure that he wasn't on the door. I didn't give him a chance to get to the door, but after I angled him off the side of the road, you know, and I kind of went on past him because I didn't hit him, wish I would have, might have took him out and not got him shot, but you know, I probably got past him a little bit, and he comes up on me, and I could see him in my mirror, and he was coming to the door, and I see his hands right behind the door. After I angled him off the side of the road, I kind of went on past him. I didn't give him a chance to get to the door. Yeah, towards the entrance, but I confronted him again. I angled at him again. We're now at aggravated assault number 3. Before we got to the road he was lying on, right at that house that's on the left-hand side, you're heading towards the entrance of the neighborhood. So he confronted him once again, right there at that corner of Holmes and Satilla. I put it in reverse and was going to back up at him. And that's when he made his move to go down the road it happened on. Felony murder, right here. Felony murder for criminal attempt at false imprisonment. Felony murder for aggravated assault with a pickup truck. Mr. Bryan kept Mr. Arbery from running down Satilla Drive and out of Satilla Shores. He redirected him up Holmes. But for those actions, Mr. Arbery would be alive. Played a necessary and substantial part in the death of Mr. Arbery. All right, so I backed up and started going down that way. I think I angled at him again. Kind of forced him off the road or something right in here, and he turned around right here. The black guy did. He turned around maybe down this far or so. He turned around and started running back the other way, and I pulled into a drive or something and started to turn around. 4th aggravated assault with a pickup truck. There's his route. There's the Mcmichael route, and here it is all together. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, the indictment. How in the world could defendant Bryan be held responsible if he was in his Silverado filming the murder at the time Travis Mcmichael murdered Ahmaud Arbery? How could Greg Mcmichael be held responsible? Okay, it's real simple. Party to a crime. The law does, in Georgia, believe that everybody who helped, encouraged, advised, went inside a house and grabbed their son and told him to get a shotgun and come on, they're all equally responsible for the ultimate death of the victim. Because a person is a party to a crime only if that person directly commits the crime. Travis Mcmichael, pulling the trigger on the shotgun, helps in the commission of the crime. He wouldn't have been able to do that if not for his father and if not for Mr. Bryan. Intentionally advises, encourages. That's what Greg Mcmichael's doing. Cut him off. Go this way. No, I'm going to go that way. What are they doing in the truck? They're working together, Greg and Travis Mcmichael. That's why they're both responsible. Laura Hope got up here and said, Greg Mcmichael's not a murderer. Yes, he is. Greg Mcmichael is just as big a murderer as Travis Mcmichael is because he's a party to this crime. Okay? When 3 people chase an unarmed man in 2 pickup trucks with guns in order to violate his personal liberty, who gets to claim, I'm not really responsible for that? Under the law in Georgia, no one gets to say that. Everybody is responsible. All right, how? All right, I'm going to give you an example. This is just an illustration, just to make a point, okay? 4 men drive to a bank to commit an armed robbery. All right? You got the driver who never gets out of the car, you got the lookout who stands outside, you got a guy who goes in without a gun, and you got a guy who goes into the bank and shoots the guard. All right? So who's guilty? Under the law in Georgia, all of them are responsible for aggravated assault for shooting the guard and armed robbery for trying to rob the bank or robbing the bank. All right? Because they committed the crime, or they helped in the commission of the crime, or they advised and encouraged someone to commit the crime. And of course you're saying, but Linda, only one person had their finger on the trigger in this case, and that was Travis Mcmichael. So how do we find Greg Mcmichael and William Roddy Bryant guilty of malice murder? Well, under the law in Georgia, it's as if they were all holding the gun together. And in this example, the guy who never got out of the car, who was the getaway driver, is just as guilty. In this example, the guy who got out of the car and just stood at the front of the bank is just as guilty. Party to a crime. So under the law, all are involved. Why? Well, Greg Mcmichael, he was seeking to confront Ahmaud Arbery. He was encouraging Travis Mcmichael to come with him, encouraging Travis to cut him off. Greg Mcmichael threatened Ahmaud to get him to stop. Okay? We would not be here if it weren't for Greg Mcmichael. Travis Mcmichael, without Travis Mcmichael deciding to actually take his shotgun and help his dad. He could have told his dad, we're not doing this. Calm down. Call the police. There's a whole bunch of decisions both of them could have made that would never have resulted in Ahmaud Arbery's death. He decided he was going to drive his pickup truck to chase Ahmaud, and he got out of that truck with that shotgun, totally and absolutely unnecessarily. Mr. Bryan, who decided to help the Mcmichaels, without Bryan, who then assaulted Ahmaud in his pickup truck in an effort to falsely imprison him on Burford, without him redirecting Ahmaud onto Holmes, without Bryan chasing Ahmaud toward Travis Mcmichael, we wouldn't be here. Because Ahmaud Arbery would not be dead. Doesn't matter who actually pulled the trigger. Under the law, they're all guilty, even of malice murder. All right, let's take a look at the crime scene. Of note, Ahmaud Arbery had nothing on him. No bag, no backpack. No burglary. No cell phone. No ID, no wallet, no keys, no gun, no weapon. Nothing. I'm going to show you some crime scene photos. So what do we have? All right, take a look at this. This is what's important in this picture. These pants are so baggy. Look at this. Look how baggy they are. Look where his belt is. He's running like this. There's no way they believe he had a gun on him. Absolutely no way. Mr. Aubry was shot. First in the torso and through the wrist. All right? He was shot this way, where it came out this way. So what's he doing? He's coming around that corner. Here it is. Here it is. His wrist gets shot. There's no way he's striking Travis Mcmichael. There's no way he's hitting him. All right, we don't know. Did he grab the end of the shotgun? Did he try and push it away? Who knows? What we do know is it happened like this, and Travis Mcmichael fired. They struggle over the gun. Yeah, then they're struggling over the gun. 2 more gunshots, and he gets shot under his left armpit. I am going to show you the crime scene photos. So what do we have? Why do we know he got shot in the wrist? Because of the blood spatter, the arterial spurt. Remember? Okay? Why is there blood here in the road in this driveway? From the arterial spurt from the wrist. That's how we know the wrist got shot when he was shot in the torso. And there's the evidence of it in the crime scene photos. What do we also know? Here's the gunshot wound to the torso. Here's the gunshot wound under the armpit. Both lethal injuries. Travis Mcmichael, at the end of his interview, the very end of his interview with Detective Nohilly, do you remember if he grabbed the shotgun at all? I want to say he did, but I honestly cannot remember. If he grabbed that shotgun, that would be the first thing Travis Mcmichael would have said. Yeah, he grabbed my shotgun. All right, we are going to talk about Greg Mcmichael. Greg Mcmichael did attempt to control the narrative after this took place. He's the one who started this whole thing, and now his son has killed someone. And that young man is laying dead in the street from these shotgun blasts. So what does Greg Mcmichael do? Well, while first responders are on the scene, he's going up and he's telling his kid, you didn't have any choice. He goes over and he talks to Brian to find out what he saw. Oh, he's got a video. He goes over and he talks to Diego Perez. He's outside the crime scene tape, wandering around, talking to people. Someone brings him his phone. A stranger comes up to him. Some neighbor comes up to him. I mean, this is a crime scene. There is a deceased young man in the middle of the road, and strangers are walking up to him, and what does he tell this stranger? This guy ain't no shuffler. This guy's an asshole. Malice, right there. That's how you know, right there. 2:15 p.m., he's talking to Captain Tom Jump, the head of CID, the head of the Criminal Investigations Division of Glenn County Police Department, while Tom Jump's crime scene tech is taking photos. Okay? And then Greg Mcmichael drives his white truck from the scene. Sheila Ramos never got any pictures of the white truck. Sheila Ramos never got any pictures of the Silverado. The white truck was never searched. Mr. Bryan's truck was never searched. Neither of those trucks were impounded. So what do we got? We got this. Outside the crime scene tape, talking to the head of CID. And what happens? Look at the crime scene photos. Take a look at them. What happens next? He drives that truck away while the crime scene tech is there taking photos. No one said Mr. Aubry had a weapon. Nobody said Mr. Aubry made any verbal threats or gestures. Nobody said I saw him commit a crime today. No one said I'm making a citizen's arrest. No one was trying to arrest him for the crime of anything. No one ever said any of these things on February 23rd, 2020. Greg Mcmichael's statements to the police. These are important. This is why Greg Mcmichael is guilty. Did this guy break into a house today? That's just it. I don't know. That's what I told what's-her-name out there. I said, listen, you might want to go knock on doors down there because this guy just done something because he was fleeing from. I don't know. He might have gone in somebody's house. You can't make a citizen's arrest because someone's running down the street and you have no idea what crime they have committed that day. You can't hold somebody so the police can show up to go, well, he must have done something. Why don't you police officers go figure out what it was that he went and did today? But that's what Greg Mcmichael told the police. Then he was asked, is he picking up anything or going through anything? You know, not that I recall. I don't think the guy has actually stolen anything out of there. Or if he did, it was early on in the process. But he keeps going back over there, over and over again, this damn house. No one ever said, we have evidence that he stole items out of Larry English's boat back on some unknown date, so we were trying to arrest him for that. There's never any mention of Larry English's house and the stolen items off the boat. Not by anybody. My intention was to stop this guy so they could be arrested. Never says for what. Never says what crime it was he was going to be arrested for. I don't think the guy's actually stolen anything. Did he break into a house today? I don't know. And in that same sentence, he could be arrested or at least identified. So this is all for identification. This whole entire thing, this was all to do what? Identify Mr. Arbery. That's what we're doing. That's what Greg Mcmichael says. How do you know it was an attack on Mr. Arbery? Strangers with intent to kill? I yelled, stop or I'll blow your fucking head off or something. I wanted to know that we weren't playing. This is what he said to the police. Now, Lorho got up here and went, yeah, he was just confused. He didn't mean that. He didn't remember what he said. Really? He proudly told the police, this is what he said to Mr. Aubry. We're gonna kill you if you don't stop. Greg Mcmichael. Yeah, he was trapped like a rat. Knowledge, intent. that they had committed false imprisonment on Holmes Drive. Right there. Greg Mcmichael, guilty of all charges. Why? What's your emergency? I'm out here in Satilla Shores and there's a black man running down the street. Yeah, this is what we get. This is what we get. Driveway decisions and assumptions. Right here. We've gone through all this. I'm not going to do it again. Bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, they committed 4 felonies against Ahmaud Arbery in violation of his personal liberty before he finally tried to run around their truck after running from them for 5 minutes. He was trying to get away from these strangers who were yelling at him, threatening to kill him. And then they killed him. Do you have any doubt that they committed all of the charges in the indictment? No. No. Remember, a reasonable doubt does not mean a vague or arbitrary doubt, but it's a doubt for which a reason can be given. In other words, you say it out loud. I doubt William Roddy Bryan was committing aggravated assault with his pickup truck because it was just reckless conduct. If you can honestly look each other in the eye and say that about Mr. Bryan with a straight face, ladies and gentlemen, you're the jury. You decide. This is your search for the truth. If you honestly can look at each other and say that out loud, then find him not guilty of the aggravated assault. Find him guilty of a lesser. Because you decide. You are Glenn County. I mean, today you are Glenn County. Remember, this isn't about having personal baggage back in the jury room. It's not about a point of view or an agenda or anything like that. That's not what's going on. You all are really, really smart, and you've paid really, really close attention to this case. You're going to determine what really happened based on the evidence, and then you're going to apply the law that the judge gives you to that evidence. It's not about being an advocate for anybody. It's your search for the truth. I suggest once again that you work from the bottom of the indictment. It's just going to be easier. Criminal attempt at false imprisonment, and then work your way through it. It'll help you logically. Remember party to a crime when you're talking about Greg Mcmichael and Mr. Bryan. You're going to get a verdict form. The state is asking you to fill it out this way, especially for Mr. Bryan and the aggravated assault with the pickup trucks. He's not guilty of simple assault. He's not guilty of reckless conduct. He's not guilty of reckless driving. He's guilty of aggravated assault for putting Ahmaud Arbery in reasonable apprehension, fear of receiving serious bodily injury. I overshot the road and forced him into a ditch. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. This isn't about whether these 3 men are good people or bad people. That's not what this is about. It's about responsibility. It's about holding people accountable and responsible for their actions. When they do something like this, they have to be held accountable and responsible. Nobody gets a free pass. Okay? Would you get a free pass? Who gets a free pass? No. The law basically says if you commit the crime, you're going to be held responsible. And ladies and gentlemen, when you come back with a guilty verdict on all the charges, this isn't saying somebody's a good person or bad person. What you're saying is, you know you committed the crime. Now we know you committed the crime too. That's all it is. They know what they did. It's not like they don't know what they did. They know exactly what they did and they know why they did it. It's not a mystery to them. When you come back with your guilty verdict, all you're doing is telling them, we know what you did too. And we're going to hold you responsible for it. Because guess what you did? You turned this young man into that young man. That's what you did. For absolutely no good reason at all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you to find all 3 defendants guilty of all the charges in the indictment. Thank you very much.
All right, excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 10-minute recess, and then we're going to come back with the charge of the court. Do not begin your discussions or deliberations in this case until you have received the final charge of the court. Again, about 10 minutes, and we'll come back and get that onto the record. Thank you.
So rise for the jury.
All right, let's take a 10-minute recess. 20 to 11 when we reconvene. Thank you.